Almost 4 in 10 Australians say they have no religion. But emptiness isn't always nothing. Australia is changing. A quiet shift has been growing for decades. That absence is not empty noise. It is a space where people begin to ask what matters, what holds, and what lasts. For many, this search is private, often unspoken, yet it nudges hearts toward a story that offers meaning, purpose, and belonging. Some of those journeys, quietly and unexpectedly, lead toward Islam. If this topic moves you, please like the video, subscribe to Islam's Light, and leave a comment with the question you want us to explore next. Islam is no longer a distant idea, it is here, in markets, schools, and city streets. In 2021, the census counted 813,392 Muslims in Australia, roughly 3% of the population. That presence is more than just numbers, it sparks conversations, piques curiosity, and leads to encounters that have the potential to change hearts. It is visible, tangible, and part of everyday life. But visibility alone does not explain why people choose this faith. Long before modern migration, Islam left footprints across the outback. Muslim cameleers mapped harsh lands, built supply lines, and helped create some of Australia's earliest mosques. Their lives braided cultures together and left a quiet, living trace of Islam in this country. Today, these historical footprints remind Australians that faith has been part of the nation's story for generations. Conversion is not a rumor, it is documented. Surveys of Australian Muslims provide the first empirically based estimate, roughly 1/6 chose the faith as adults. That figure reframes conversion as a measurable, continuous component of community growth. It reflects thousands of people discovering their spiritual home in Islam through curiosity, reflection, and deliberate choice. They refer to it as returning rather than conversion. Fitrah, or innate recognition of God, is central to their experience. Embracing Islam can feel like reclaiming a thread that has always been there, intimate, sometimes overwhelming, and a quiet return for the soul. Sometimes the world forces us to dig deeper. Media coverage, global events, and local debates encouraged people to read, ask questions, and meet. Curiosity turned into study, and study frequently led to faith. A headline may spark the journey, but reflection and personal exploration propel it forward. Why do 61% of Australian reverts identify as women? Islam provides clarity, dignity, and structure, forming a framework that feels protective rather than confining. Women describe faith as a place where inner worth takes precedence over public image, and spiritual agency is encouraged and respected. Many Australians discover faith after their first significant life event. People in their early 30s begin to question their purpose and legacy after achieving independence, experimenting with their careers, or changing relationships. Islam emerges in this season as a consistent answer, providing moral clarity and a meaningful way to structure life. Most of the reverts were born here. They convey cultural memories, secular influences, and childhood experiences. Choosing Islam combines local identity with global faith, resulting in an Australian expression of devotion that is both personal and grounded. Faith in the heart meets reason in the mind. One path leads to moments of awe, peace, or the reordering of priorities. Reading, questioning, and reflecting are examples of intellectual activities. Where these paths intersect, belief becomes felt and reasoned, strong and enduring. Sometimes a single encounter changes everything. A kind gesture, an honest conversation, or a neighbor who quietly practices their faith dispels suspicion far more effectively than headlines. Many reverts begin with the influence of living examples, rather than just texts or sermons. Faith crosses all boundaries. New Muslims include doctors, students, artists, tradies, parents, and singles. Their diversity demonstrates that Islam appeals to people of all socio-economic backgrounds, educational levels, regions, and lifestyles. Faith becomes about finding meaning, clarity, and personal purpose. Money can fill a room, but not a soul. Many who embrace Islam speak of emptiness that achievement, status, or wealth could not touch. The faith restores narrative, accountability, and purpose, filling gaps materialism cannot reach. Tawhid, the oneness of God, provides unshakable clarity. For those tired of moral ambiguity, God's singularity provides coherence, a fixed point in a shifting spiritual landscape. It is simple and profound, a single truth that serves as the foundation for life and decision-making. The Quran can feel like a personal conversation. Encountering it honestly and without filters sparks recognition, understanding, and sometimes wonder. Its direct voice becomes a compass, guiding life with clarity and quiet rigor. Faith that speaks to the mind as well as the heart. Islam prizes learning, reflection, and rational inquiry. For Australians who want belief to make sense both intellectually and spiritually, this tradition is persuasive. Belief can be argued, tested, and lived with integrity. Coming home is more than just a theological experience, it is also deeply emotional. New Muslims describe visceral recognition as moments when the inner and outer paths finally align. That emotional resonance helps them get through social costs, personal struggles, and life transitions. There is clarity in the midst of chaos. Stability is important in the face of rapid cultural change. Many reverts find solace in Islamic ethics. Daily routines, family life, and community interactions are all guided by principles that ensure consistency, protection, and purpose. Change costs something, but it yields even more. Some lose friendships, while others feel disconnected from old circles. However, leaving certain habits behind often leads to quiet freedom. Loss and gain coexist on the journey, pain paired with growth, and challenge paired with freedom. The next generation of Australian Muslims is shaping their faith from within. Islam's presence reflects a domestic narrative, as the majority of reverts were born locally. Their stories reshape institutions, practices, and language, pointing to a future in which faith adapts to local circumstances while remaining true to eternal truths.